Hi, I'm Jeff Hayek. I'm the owner and founder of Action, and this is my latest episode of my Ramblings of a Continuous Improvement Coach. Today, I will be talking about the balance between low-hanging fruit and the improvement in your skill set to let you reach those higher fruits. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that I was doing one of my terms for my Continuous Improvement Companion, and that's the online reference guide that I have. It's also got a downloadable portion of it. But I was working on the term extrapolation. So an extrapolation, it's basically taking the piece of data that you have and trying to make an estimate about outside of that data range. And I was using the example of when you set targets for your continuous improvement gains. So you're going to go and look at what you're going to accomplish in the coming year, and you're trying to make an estimate about how you're going to do in the future, and you're going to base that on how you've done in the past. So you're extrapolating the gains that you're going to make. So the challenge comes in that when you first start out in continuous improvement, you often have a whole bunch of easy projects. So these are projects that are really pretty fundamental in terms of continuous improvement. So you'll do some 5S, you'll do some basic Kanban establishment. You'll look around and find some processes that are really ripe for basic standardization. You'll do some reduction in lot size, things like that. All the things that are very basic, that are really easy to come up with when you first start in continuous improvement without a lot of extra abilities or without a lot of skill set. But what happens is very quickly, those really easy projects, they start to fade away because you've done them all. So you're going to see a whole bunch of early gains, even without a lot of talent on your team yet. You know, the people have basic intelligence and abilities, but they're not focused on continuous improvement yet. They don't have that as a part of their culture. They don't have it as a way they think immediately in terms of the process for making an improvement. But as they do these projects, they're going to gain skills. And you'll find that the level of ability keeps rising and rising and rising as the difficulty of the projects that are remaining keep rising too. So the apparent feel of the projects doesn't actually they don't actually seem as hard as they did, 6 months or a year ago when you first started on your program, because now you have more people, and more people who are trained on continuous improvement, and they're trained more deeply. So you have a lot more ability to throw human resources at a problem and have that intelligence and that capability and creativity solve the problem for you. So the projection is that you're going to keep getting these, basically the low-hanging fruit gets picked off, but because you get taller. So now you're able to pick higher fruit as your skills keep developing. So the key here, and the takeaway from this is, and I always like to give a little bit of advice as you go, is there's a common trend in lean companies that they do a big push for training early on and get everybody on board with training, and then that momentum starts to peter out a little bit. So people start to get busy and they start to do other things, and they start to miss training sessions, or you get fewer people signing up for the training sessions, or you do the basic training and you don't go more advanced and get people trained on the more sophisticated concepts of lean. So you start to stagnate. And once you stagnate on your training and development, you're still going to be doing those easier projects, but now because you're not gaining that talent within your organization, the projects start to feel hard. And when they start to feel hard, it's a very risky time for an organization. They have a tendency to give up on things. I think this is a statistic I came across years ago, and it says something like 76% of companies that try a continuous improvement effort fall short of their gains. And it doesn't mean it's a complete failure. It means that they expected this much and they got this much out of it, and then they try something else. So they, when they get less than they want, they often abandon and go somewhere other direction. And that's why lean is considered to be very, very difficult to do well. But conceptually, there's not a whole lot to lean that's really hard to understand. So when you go through and actually read about it, a lot of it's common sense. But the big key is to make sure you keep that focus on training people. And if it gets to be just a few people who are really driving the train on your continuous improvement efforts, they get burned out by being on projects all the time. So you got to make sure you have enough people who are trained deeply that you can rotate that burden, because when people get really overworked on lean stuff and they have to go back and still take care of their normal jobs, they stop volunteering, they stop offering their services if they get overworked. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to talk about today is just this making sure you manage the balance between the ease of the projects and how difficult they start to get as you pick off the easy stuff and making sure that you're ready when you start doing that you have people who are trained up and can handle that. So that's all I have for today's rambling. Hope you got something out of it. If you do, I really appreciate likes and subscribes. They help me more than you know. It really drives the viewership up on my videos and gives me an incentive to make more. So if you want to see more videos like this and if you want to see them keep getting better, give me a couple likes and subscribes and let me know. And it really helps out a lot. If you want to go deeper into some of your lean learning, Velaction Videos is the way to go. It's my premium service. It's a platform with a lot more videos on it. There's also a lot of bonus downloads. So I encourage you to continue. And like I said, if you want to get better at lean, you got to take your training to the next level. So, okay, that's all I got for today. This is Jeff Hayek, Velaction Continuous Improvement. Best wishes on your continuous improvement journey. Thanks.